If you're hosting a college basketball tournament, you need three things: a court, a ball, and Tom Lamonica. Well, it's a slight exaggeration, but not much. Lamonica is a volunteer fixture at the Missouri Valley Conference men's and women's basketball tournaments every spring. That's just one part of an impressive career mostly spent at Illinois State University, first as the Redbird Sports Information Director and now as an educator in the School of Communication. For almost half a century of work in college sports, Lamonica in March will be inducted into the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame. In this interview with WGLT correspondent Randy Kindred, the 71-year-old Lamonica says he's got no plans to slow down.
In March, I'm usually at the men's tournament, and then the next week at the women's tournament, and then one of the weeks after that, I work an NCAA tournament. This year, I'm going to Omaha to be part of that first and second round. And then by the time I get back to my nice office in Fell Hall and look around and say, boy, being a college professor is a really good gig, because it's those 3 weeks are long enough to remind me that retirement was the right decision.
Yeah. And you probably have done numerous jobs in all of those tournaments. I mean, you've probably had a sampling of about everything there is that needs to be done, haven't you?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I've done the credential security. I've done I do the Hall of Fame with the Missouri Valley. I do broadcast assistance. I do game notes. Mm-hmm. So when I go to a communications leader for an NCAA event, and they say, well, what have you done, or what can you do? I put whatever you need done. Now, an NCAA tournament, the seating chart is kind of an important thing, because people always feel like they deserve a better seat than they've got, or closer to the court than they've got. And so I ended up spending the next, I think it was 9 or 10 hours with all the information kind of holed up in my hotel room and producing a seating chart for them. So I'm open to whatever, because if you've been a tournament communication manager, you've done all that stuff already.
I remember doing a story for the Pantograph when you retired from athletic communications. In a lot of people's mind, I think, well, that's the end of a career, but you were just kind of getting started at that point, weren't you? I mean, you've gone on, and I know you taught classes in the School of Communications even before that, but now, you know, you've continued for whatever, 17 years or whatever it's been, and teaching classes and running the internship program, and it seems like you're probably busier than ever now than you were back then.
I really am not as busy as I was back then, but all the things that you mentioned, those have been exciting and fulfilling things, working with the Communication Week interns, working with alumni like yourself, bringing people back to campus to speak. That's all been a labor of love, and we're in the process of trying to get final campus approval and state approval for a sports communication major, and that really makes the future look even more exciting. So I'm hoping that I can stick around and continue to be part of that. I've been teaching a course in sports communication for 5 years. I designed it about 5 years ago, and it's the first course for that major. We're just waiting on the paperwork, and we think that'll be a very popular major here at Illinois State.
Is the best part about what you're doing now is obviously you're working with students who are 18 to 22, and it probably kind of keeps you young at heart anyway, doesn't it? And it probably keeps you in tune with some of the attitudes and approaches to life that maybe they have that students 20 years ago wouldn't have had.
You know, you hit that on the head. That's a big part of it. Since the Hall of Fame announcement was made, I've heard from several hundred people in various forms of social media, phone calls, and even some handwritten notes. And my response to the ones who say, I can't believe you're still working, is that, you know, I get older every year, but the freshmen are always 18. And now those freshmen are not that much older than my grandsons. And it's been exciting to see the change. And, you know, as a parent, you saw that, and now you've seen how things have changed, events have changed people. Children are raised much differently than you and I were, and I would argue than we raised our children. But I really get excited about working with the students that come along today, because they all have a great work ethic that we get here at Illinois State, and they want to succeed, and they want to please people. And that's, to me, that's the foundation. A lot of other things about that people argue and fuss about with young people, they're not as important to me as that willingness to succeed, that desire to succeed and to please people and to do what's good for other people.
To have them honor you like this, what does it mean to you?
You know, it's kind of hard. I've always been a words guy, but it's still hard to put into words. You know, I've worked with, as you know, I've worked with the Hall of Famers for the last 15 years at the particular Missouri Valley Conference event. In fact, when Jeff Jackson called me to let me know that I was being admitted into the Hall of Fame, the first thing he said to me, he goes, "Your usual job during the Men's Valley tournament, you're not going to be doing that this year." And there was a kind of a pause on the line. I'm thinking, uh-oh, I'm fired. I've made somebody unhappy. But he said, and then he told me, he said, because you're going to be one of those people and we'll have somebody else lead them around. But that experience has been helpful to me, because if you can imagine, every single year I meet 5, 6, 7 people who have had extraordinary careers, and their humility about it is amazing.
Boomer Grigsby, the great linebacker from ISU, is going in this year as well. So you and Boomer are like the 16th and 17th people from Illinois State to go into the Missouri Valley Hall of Fame. And most of those people you were very familiar with, probably worked with. And just to be in the same Hall of Fame with those people is probably a big honor, isn't it?
It is. It's an amazing honor, and I am excited to go in with Boomer, who was in the early 2000s an outstanding player for the Redbird football team, National Defensive Player of the Year, Valley all-time leader in tackles, and a great guy with a great sense of humor. Played in the NFL. I remember helping proofread the football roster while Boomer was a student athlete at Illinois State. And I remember looking at him and saying, 6 feet, 245. Hey, that's me. So, you know, I can say that I have that in common with Boomer. But again, he's I like to say he is the 16th, and I'm coming after him. But it is surreal to be part of this.
That's Tom Lamonica, the former sports information director at ISU Athletics. He's being inducted into the Missouri Valley Conference Hall of Fame in March. That's alongside former Redbird football star Boomer Grigsby. Lamonica spoke with WGLT correspondent Randy Kindred.